Hear ye, hear ye. It is our honor to welcome you to the KingMaker Podcast.
Welcome back to the Kingmaker Podcast. Alejandro, how's your day going today?
Hey, what's up? I'm really good. I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, this is really cool because this is like the beginning of season 2. Are you looking forward to season 2, Alejandro?
No, yeah, because a lot of the DAOs we were talking to, they were excited for future products or updates that they have or things that they had planned, and enough months have passed that we can ask them for how it's going, the results, and everything of their hard work.
Yeah, and these are some pretty big episodes because, like you said, we're going to see how things played out versus our first conversation. We're going to see the growth. We're going to see the pivots, and we're going to get to talk to two really amazing folks from Redacted Cartel. So we have KP and we have Funky in the house. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks, Alejandro. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm glad to be on.
So let's just get it rolling. So what has happened since our last episode? So going back in time, I was in a period of transition as far as my residence, and literally we recorded that first episode. I was in my car in McDonald's parking lot on the free Wi-Fi. It is nice to actually be sitting in a house right now. So since living in my car to now, KP, what's been going on?
Yeah, thanks for having us back. So since the last episode, we shipped Pirex. That was, just an incredible experience, and I guess helped reinforce with the community and that Pirex or Redacted ships products, and we're gonna keep doing it because that's what we love doing. But yeah, ever since we launched, we've been seeing 10 to 20% growth week over week as far as the deposits of CVX, without any additional incentives from our end. So it's purely those deposits are purely based on the value that we're providing with our product, and really excited about that.
And on a side note, KP, I can hear you this time. What's up with that?
Thanks, Keith. Yeah. I think people were just being too nice before and weren't telling me that they couldn't hear me at all. And it really took an intervention by friends, to get me to clean my act up or my mic up, because they said if I didn't, they wouldn't be friends with me anymore. So thanks to them.
That's harsh.
That's what it takes sometimes.
So on the journey, getting into the launch of Pirex, step us through that day when you launched. How did it feel? I guess it's like, I don't know, it's like having a kid, but maybe it is. What was that like? What was the experience like?
I mean, I wish we could give you some really crazy adrenaline pumping story, but the reality is it just felt, I don't know, it was kind of anticlimactic just because we've shipped the product, or we've deployed the product so many different times on test nets, because one of the things that we really we're intent on doing, and which caused I think like a 1 month delay on the actual project's launch date, is just extensive and comprehensive testing, which meant that we just tested it up and down in every way possible. So I don't know, I think mainnet deployment just kind of felt like pushing the button for the 10th time, but we are really happy that we did it. And I think what's important is just seeing that users really appreciated what we're doing, because the numbers and the growth speaks for itself. But I think, launch was great and all, but I think the most exciting and amazing part was the building side of things with people like Funky here, who contributed to how certain things worked, things like how we should structure fees and how we could capture the most value for users, etc. Maybe I think he should share his perspective, maybe from a non-tech side.
I gotta say, like, in terms of Pirex launch, I think KP is right. It wasn't anticlimactic, but it was hands down the smoothest launch I have ever been part of, because everything went to plan, everything worked perfectly, and it's a real testament to what KP and the dev team did. Like, it was like everything had been like planned, and you're taking the time to do everything properly. There's no rush. And it's been I think as KP was saying, we have almost 800,000 CVX in Pirex now, so you can see the adoption after a product which has been out for just almost 2 months now, and it's only going to get better as Pirex evolves. So really excited for that as well.
So what specifically was your role, Funky, as in the development here of Pirex, and dig a little deeper into that if you could.
Sure. Yeah. So KP touched on this already. So what me and I think Percival were really helping with was kind of figuring out, first of all, how do we provide value, how do we maximize the value that we can provide to users while also providing value to Redacted. So obviously Pirex is a Redacted product, and with Redacted, there are butterfly holders who benefit from the fees generated from Pirex. So we had to basically work with these two compounding forces to figure out how do we create value, and then at the same time, how can we kind of take some of that value, but we're also still providing a significant amount of value for users. So we worked on the different kind of ways that we generate fees, but what really kept in mind there was ensuring that if you're a UCVX user or a PXCVX user, you are still deriving a significant amount of utility that would incline somebody to use that product.
Yeah, so I think that was maybe one of the things that wasn't totally clear in our first conversation, was sort of about the structure of fees and how that's going to benefit the butterfly holders. I think there's a couple different tokens there, but could you go into a little bit more on the specifics there? Just how that's structured, because it does need to be an everybody wins situation when you put a product out there. It can't be free. From a retail investor standpoint, I realize it can't be free, and you put this out as a free service just out of the generosity of your heart. We need crypto protocols to be able to be sustainable and earning revenue. So, what did that look like in maybe into the future? What's that look like a little bit more? Are things going to continuously be tweaked, or what's your view on that?
So I guess so we launched with this set of fees. There's a number of different fees. So if you're interested in looking at the breakdown, I encourage you to go to our docs page on our website, and you can see the fees clearly set out there. And if you have any more detailed questions, feel free to pop in our Discord, etc. But we launched with a set of fees, and we have since tweaked those fees since launch. So we've reduced, say, the compounding fee for the compounding of the rewards back to PXCVX, and we've also reduced the withdrawal fee. And in terms of, I guess, the fee share, so there's we're partnered with Llama Union, so they receive a portion of the fees that's generated by the pounder. The rest of the Pirex fees are split with Redacted, so 75% of the fees generated by Pirex are accrue to Redacted itself, whereas the remaining 25% is kept by Pirex. Within that 75% that goes to Redacted, I want to think right now to make sure I'm giving the right numbers, but I think 42.5% goes to our butterfly holders, 42.5% goes to the treasury, and then 15% goes to the DAO reserves. And each of those has specific functions. For those of you who are kind of new to Redacted or haven't kept up with kind of the recent developments, RL Butterfly is a locked token for Butterfly. And if you lock your token similar to Convex for 16 weeks, you can get a share of protocol revenue every 2 weeks.
Appreciate you bringing up the Llama Air Force folks there. So, and maybe this is KP Funky. It seems like there's two avenues to get in on Pirex. It looks like you can go through the Union website, but then you also have your Pirex website. Can you talk a little bit about, hey, as a retail investor, what are my pathways to joining?
Yeah. So, I mean, major shout out to the guys over at Llama because I mean they were also integral to getting Pirex to where it is today, and I really believe Benny and Alu are probably some of the most talented builders in the space. They just keep shipping too. So when it comes to accessing the Union Pirex product, as you just mentioned, you could either go through Llama Air Force's Union interface, or you could just go to us. And the idea is that, so how we classify that product is we call it Pirex Easy Mode because you deposit CVX and the Union guys just auto compound it into more CVX for you over time based on. So what happens is they take the rewards that CVX earns and then they turn it into more CVX. But that CVX is PX CVX, which is virtually the same. But I mean with minor differences, of course. And I guess just touching on that real quick, when I say that PX CVX is basically CVX, it's because every one PX CVX that you have, you could redeem for close to one CVX. And I say close to one because there are fees. But I'm glad that we brought up the issue of, or maybe, well, not the issue, but the topic of fees, because it's definitely been a point of, one of the things that people like to bring up as a, I guess, a point of concern or FUD when discussing our product. And it's, we just want to put out there that we will never shy away from, discussing things like that openly. Because if we can't defend ourselves or provide, sound reasoning for having things like that in place, then, we shouldn't, right? And so when it comes to our fees, they aren't purely for the sake of capturing value from users. Some of it is for security purposes because, and one example of that is the Union withdrawal fee, which we have in place. So you can deposit CVX into the auto compounder or, Pirex Easy Mode. But if you withdraw your tokens, there's going to be a 1.5% or so fee incurred. Is it 1.5% Funky or is it 1.7 now? But yeah, anyway.
I think it's 1.5 on the Union website.
Yeah,
okay.
It's 1.5, yeah.
But yeah, it's 1.5, and the reason is because we needed a mechanism or some way to deter, a whale from coming in, making a large deposit, taking all the users' rewards, and then withdrawing their tokens. But yeah, on the, if you're someone who truly believes in CVX and are a long-term holder, these fees are pretty much nothing. But
yeah, I mean, I think like especially for the what we call the withdrawal fee in the Union Pounder, it's not an accurate description of what it actually is. It's kind of like a probably withdrawal penalty because say you have 100 PX CVX in the Pounder vault, right? If you're withdrawing, you'll have to pay 1.5% fee, which means that you'll lose 1.5 PX CVX. But that 1.5 CVX doesn't go to Pirex, doesn't go to Redacted, it actually goes back into the vault. So like say that there's 4 of us in the vault, one of us leaves, that fee will be shared between the remaining 3 people. So it's kind of it's the real incentive there, as KP was saying, is because compounded rewards in the vault are streamed over 2 weeks. So it means like if we claim the rewards to next Tuesday, where the next round ends, those rewards will be sold for CVX, converted to PX CVX, and then they'll be added to the vault. But the participants in the vault will receive those rewards over 2 weeks. So there's this kind of potential arbitrage or attack, or whatever you want to call it, where somebody could join the vault just after the rewards have started to be distributed, and they leave just before the snapshot for the next round. So that means that they could benefit from nearly 2 weeks of rewards without contributing to the rewards for the pool, and basically just double dip. So that's kind of really what it is there.
Yeah. And just to I guess wrap up the fee, addressing fees, I think it really can all be boiled down to any fees that we charge should pale in comparison to the value that you're getting from us. And one of the examples that we like to use, and which we wish was the case in the real world, because it would have really helped a lot of people. But like one of the reasons why we created Pirex was because of people like us, everyday users, people who can't stomach millions in loss, or any reasonable amount of money in drawdowns. It's impossible to sell the CVX once you lock it, unless you sell the entire, access to the account, by handing over your private keys or having some sort of agreement in place. But obviously not everyone's going to be able to do that or want to do that. So if we had launched Pirex even 1 month earlier, we could have saved people 50 to 70% in losses if they realized it. So when we launched Pirex, CVX was at $10 at the time, and unfortunately, we timed the bear market, the major sell-off pretty perfectly, because CVX, was something went as low as like $3 or $2 or something, and I would imagine some people probably sold at that point. But imagine if instead of having to just sit there and watch, the value of your locked CVX, disappear before your eyes, if you're able to at least, manage some of that, or offset some of that loss. And that's what Pirex does. We allow you to have more control over your assets, and we also provide additional tools or assets in order to help you either one, boost your yield, or two, offset your losses. So one example of that is, or one example of what I just mentioned, boosting your yield or offsetting your losses is, well, I don't know about boosting your yield. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but let's just focus on the offset losses part. So with Pirex, you could actually mint your yield, your future yield, well before you actually get it. So we issue.
So just we're shifting out of easy mode now, correct?
Yes.
Would this be medium or hard, or what have you classified this as, just so people are keeping up at home?
Gotcha. So Pirex has 3 modes: easy, standard, and expert. And both standard and expert modes have a mint for you, or enable you to mint tokens representing your future yield.
Perfect. Okay, and so what you're about to talk about could apply to both.
Yes.
All right. Gotcha.
So I guess just a high-level view of each of them. As I mentioned, easy mode is just, deposit your CVX, sit back. That CVX becomes more CVX over time. Standard mode, we try to replicate the experience of locking your CVX with convex, while also providing the benefits that you would get from using Pirex. For example, selling your locked CVX and minting the future yield tokens, as I just mentioned. And 3, expert mode is where you have a lot more control and could do these actions manually. But yeah, these 3 modes are basically just structured ways that we put together to help users just to interact with our protocol.
Okay, then as far as mitigating risk, how does that play into it then? What are our options with standard and expert then? So again, we talked a little bit about this on the first go around, but I'll be honest, I wasn't totally clear. So I'm loving this conversation again, so that I can clarify things. I've done some reading, but I want it crystal clear in my mind.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, regardless of what mode it is that you use, easy mode, standard mode, expert mode, you're always going to be able to um, either reduce your locked CVX position or get out of it altogether, which is not possible when locking directly with CVX or convex, because when locking your CVX with convex, that those tokens are locked within the contract for 4 months, and they aren't tokens that you could transfer or anything, which is why I mentioned that if you want to get out, then you have to figure out a way to get your private keys to the buyer, or at least have some agreement where at the end of the 4 months or whatever, you transfer them your tokens for X price.
Can't Celsius help you with that, or Voyager?
I don't. I mean, even if they could, not sure if you'd actually want to. Well, I mean, in hindsight's 2020.
Bad joke, sorry.
No, it's totally okay. Yeah, maybe we should have done PX Celsius or PX Voyager or something.
No.
But yeah, okay. So on top of being able to actually sell your locked CVX, another way that you can help control or manage your risk is to sell your future yield. And since those future yield tokens are secured, as in we actually hold on to the assets in order to produce the yield that is backing those tokens, whoever buys them is guaranteed to be able to collect that yield later on. But anyway, so let's just say you don't want to sell your CVX because you're a CVX maxi. You'll never ever sell it. What you could do is, but the market conditions look pretty bad, right? Everyone's like talking about recession. Your friend Sue just borrowed billions of dollars, and things are just gonna go down the shitter. If you don't want to sell your CVX, what you could do is just sell off your future yield. You could mint up to, more than this, but you could mint, let's just say, a year's worth of your yield, with each of those tokens backed by the actual yield themselves. But yeah, mint the yield for a year, sell it to someone, probably at a discount, and at the very least, you'll have some amount of money to at least help you either buy the dip or offset. Yeah, as I mentioned. So even if your CVX goes down 75%, you still have money from yield that is in the future.
What's that discount look like right now to buy future yield? What's the marketplace sort of? How's it played out in the real world? Again, I remember talking about that the first go around, but is there any metrics y'all are tracking? Is there a Dune dashboard we can see what that spread is, or what's that looking like?
Yeah, Funky's the Dune master, but right now there is no pricing for these assets because we're still working on rolling out expert mode, which is where we're going to have the exchange and all that stuff. And we're also working with the market maker who has committed capital to supporting the purchase of some of those assets. We don't know exactly how far out they're going to buy these yield tokens for, but they did commit a good amount of capital, and they're also the ones who have a pricing model in place. I don't know if they're going to share with other market makers, but yeah, at least that once we do roll it out, there's going to be support and buying right out the gate. So
I'm glad you went over that because that was one of the things I was gonna ask. Is this currently out, just so people at home, if they're getting excited about it, they can know. But okay, is there would you be able to? I don't need to call this alpha, but could you at least tell us how long do you think the wait's gonna be? A couple of weeks, a couple of months, or is that something you can't say anything about yet?
No, yeah, we could definitely tell you. So the thing is, I guess, it's a mostly a front end effort, and as talented as Greenberg's is, he can't do everything, and he's been juggling V2 and Hidden Hand and Pirex. So yeah, he's just gonna wrap up the V2 launch first, and then get back to the Pirex side of things. And I do anticipate that effort not taking more than 2 to 3 weeks. And
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I mean, other than that, like most everyone else is, yeah, we're ready to go.
Can I ask a question? By V2, do you mean the RL and GL butterfly and all that stuff, or
Yep.
okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. You can ask anything you want.
No, yeah, that's one thing I was wondering is because so like hopefully this is something okay to ask. A couple months have passed and you guys were excited about it, but nothing else really came out from there. Like I don't think you guys shipped it at all.
Hmm.
Um, can you talk about the development about that, like the development of
Are you
V
talking
two
about
and
V2 specifically? Oh, okay.
yeah V
Gotcha.
two, like the tokenomic changes, all that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Funky
I
knows
mean,
about the
like
tokenomics and all that stuff, so I'll let him have that.
so like I mean, as you said, so like we are moving since the community vote passed, etc. We're changing from kind of rebase tokenomics to fixed supply tokenomics, where we'll have a set number of butterfly being emitted over a 10-year period. And I'll say that like given Redacted is a protocol which is about 7 months old now, the kind of rebase slash bonding mechanics were really like invaluable for like us to like bootstrap a really strong treasury, and like that was great for the kind of bootstrapping phase of the protocol. And now that we're moving towards more of a products based lineup, the tokenomics don't make sense anymore. So we're moving towards more sustainable tokenomics with a fixed butterfly supply cap, and we'll have this lock token, as I was saying earlier, called revenue locked butterfly, RL butterfly for short. You lock it for 16 weeks, and every 2-week period you can claim portion of the protocol revenue. In terms of the development, yeah, so it's been kind of like a work in progress, but we're expecting to ship it within. We don't like giving dates because some people will, I don't know, hold us to it if we miss it by whatever. But we're expecting to launch it very soon. The code is locked. Everything's been audited. It's kind of like, again, we're just finishing up the UI, and then what we'll do is to give people a adequate kind of notice so that they can migrate their tokens to the new Butterfly V2 token, and lock their tokens for RL Butterfly in anticipation for the first epoch. What we'll do is we'll announce a date, and then we'll launch on that date. So the TLDR is coming soon.
So
very soon.
Very, very soon. Excellent.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's the main focus right now. It's taking longer than expected, and what we're doing. So I think we're initially expecting to launch in like maybe like end of May, June, and so what we've done, we've kind of had delays due to auditors, and we were kind of a bit stretched thin on the front end side, and we've launched Pirex, which has taken a lot of dev time, etc. And what we're doing is for the first epoch, which will be like 1 or 2 weeks after we launch, we'll be distributing protocol revenue since 1st of June. So basically the idea there is basically to not to account for the fact that it was delayed. Users will have the same benefit as if we had launched in June.
Yeah, but I mean, this will be a good chance to say that if you're a good or great developer, please do reach out to us because we want to work with you. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the DAO is made up of individual contributors who can come in and go as they please. Of course, I mean, many of us have stuck together because we see a lot of potential in the team and what we're our potential and capable and what we're capable of. So, but yeah, we want to reduce that that volatility in terms of dates that we sent or dates that we set for launching, and not have it be so susceptible to say someone or people, having like moving on or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the code has been audited, as Funky mentioned, and we're ready to ship soon. It's just that, yeah, Greenberg's is a legend. I mean, doing a shit ton of work, and appreciate him.
So you mentioned the team, and there's been some FUD out there. There's y'all had a proposal to looks like switch into maybe stables for some of the funding for the team. Can you talk to that a little bit about just sort of the transition that's been going on, and the extremely positive vote y'all had for your budget and moving forward?
Yeah, sure. So, like, I guess so linked to the change in tokenomics for Butterfly, going from a rebase towards a kind of fixed supply model. With that, we created like a segmentation of the treasury, which holds the treasury assets like our convex, our curve, FXS, etc. And then we created this other entity called the DAO reserves, and the idea is that the DAO reserves would fund the operations of the DAO, which includes contributors, audit fees, etc. And the way that this DAO reserves was to be funded, or will be funded, is that there would be a certain number of Butterfly missions that would be going there. So I think it's 15% of the total supply would be kind of distributed there over time. Full details in like the Commonwealth Post, where we show the exact distribution model, etc. And in addition to that, the DAO reserves would also be funded by 15% of treasury yield and product revenue, so like Pirex in hand. And so like, I think it's about mid-June. Yeah, mid-June, we were in a difficult market situation. Celsius was about to be liquidated on their MakerDAO loan, etc. Market was looking bleak. And there was so we were, given the current funding mechanism, we would still be able to fund the kind of DAO's operations. But in the event that the market continued to sour, there was a possibility that the DAO reserves would no longer be able to support the kind of DAO's operations, especially in terms of like contributor salary, etc. So what we did is we put together a proposal, which we put together a proposal which put forward a plan where for the next 6 months, instead of using the kind of proposed DAO reserves funding mechanisms, the DAO's operations would be funded by the treasury. And we did this because we wanted to make sure that we could continue operating. We wanted to make sure that we could continue building the products that we have in mind for the community. So we put this to community vote, and we had an overwhelming response. I think the community is really keen on what we're working on. And I'd say as well, I'm also very excited on things we have in store, and maybe KP will drop some alpha later on about that.
Well, before he does, I just want to say this, and Alejandro, I want you to chime in on this. It is important that fees are charged. It is important that there's revenues that are earned by the protocols, or it's not sustainable. And we say this on almost every episode. Crypto can't be based on hopes and dreams. It has to be sustainable long term, and people just need to get that. At the end of the day, these are businesses. I know their DAO structure and other things, but we all want you to make money. We all want this to be around. So we are 100% supportive of that, at least from my standpoint. Alejandro, what's your take?
No, yeah, same here. I'm supportive of it as well, and in the same time, like we've been seeing the trend more and more, like more DAOs and like different builders and different aspects of the DeFi ecosystem has been trying to make everything positive sum for everyone involved, and that's the key point. Like, just speak like, even though they have fees, or like this product or a different product may have fees, they have that fees because, like you said, they need to continue on working. But at the same time, is that if they want to continue like growing and making more money, they have to, in the same time, bring more value to to their holders and to the people who are part of the ecosystem. So like, I think it's just a matter of perspective. Like, instead of focusing so much on one aspect or like putting in a negative connotation, then just like put it in more in a positive light. Like they may like, in this case, Redacted may take fees, or but like one, they need to continue, but like of course, like they also have something in it. Like they're gonna bring more value to the ecosystem and to their holders, because not only their holders win, but also Redacted wins as well with more revenue and earnings, etc. At least that's what I would say.
Yeah, the thing is, like, there's so much great talent in Web3, in Redacted, and it's like these people weren't working here, they could get these crazy jobs in Fang, whatever, and you could, like, guys like KP, and you need to make sure that we can be competitive with these other people, so that we can get the best talent and produce the best products at the end of the day.
Yeah, and really impressed with everyone I've been working with on our team. I mean, based on that alone, I feel like, well, don't tell Sammy this, because then I definitely am not going to get paid zero. But yeah, if I were, just knowing that what our team is capable of, I mean, I don't know. I think some of us would even work for free, but definitely not. So don't.
You said you need just one ramen packet a week, is what you said before we started recording.
He did
I
say
don't know,
that.
man. Pirex is
every-
getting to my head now, so I might demand 3. So, yeah, they've been really nice.
The egos of these devs.
The
But, yeah,
audacity.
Every
major
week,
shout out,
KP receives one ramen packet from Sammy.
Yeah, really grateful for what, the ways of thinking about incentives and things like that people like Sammy and other Redacted founders, Marcel and Never, kind of instilled from the very start, which is, ownership and having, this potential upside that isn't fixed. I mean, yeah, upside that isn't fixed to just a salary. I feel like everyone on our team really takes initiative and really does everything they can to push this forward, because we're all going to be gaining we all will benefit from the fruits of our labor. And it's not just you make this amount, someone else gets rich from it, and that's it. And that's definitely not the case here. Like, we're always constantly figuring out ways so that when we win, everyone wins together. And we're looking at figuring out how to incentivize people adding value, both people who are existing on our team and those who will be joining, and enabling them to actually own a piece of these things that we're creating. So super excited about that.
And so you just mentioned everybody wins together, and we always chat before we do these recordings, and you eloquently were talking about there's other folks doing similar things, but slightly different to what Pirex is. But you don't see it as competition. Can you talk a little bit about that? Just your overall view of how we have to work in Web3 and crypto.
Yeah, Funky actually said the PvE piece, and I think he'll touch on that too. But yeah, I mean, while it's important to be aware of your competitors and what they're generally doing, I do think that one, you should never talk badly about them, or force any sort of confrontation just because it's not very productive. Because ideally, your mental and physical energies goes towards building your product. And so yes, we're always cognizant of what's happening around us, but at the same time, we know what we're building out. I mean, from the start. And because we always look at how we can add value, and that's usually solving problems, and we define them beforehand. Or if we find a new problem that's important enough, we will add it to the product. And we just want to focus on that. I mean, getting ourselves worked up over our competitors isn't going to help us solve those problems for people. So Funky, you want to touch on the PvE piece?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was saying before we started recording is that like Web3's, it's such a blossoming industry, and there's so many opportunities. it doesn't make sense to go PvP. Like there's so much more value and synergies of just going PvE together. Like, so yeah, like there are people who are doing perhaps similar things to Pirex, but the reason why like I think KP came up with Pirex, etc., and why we built it is because you build the products that you want to use, right? So it's kind of like exactly the features that you want, that kind of functionality that you want to see, and all that like flexibility. So yeah, like PvE all the way.
Yeah. And just quickly, man, I mean, I you guys are both super sharp people, which is why we always enjoy being on these podcasts. Like, we should flip the tables, and ask your take on Pyrex, and what have your experiences been using it, and also knowing what it could do, and also hearing what the context community thinks about it too. Alejandro and Keith.
Do you want me to start, or do you want to go, Keith?
Go ahead. You're the smart one.
Oh, like, thank you for the compliment. I don't. At least if I'm talking about myself, I really do enjoy all the options that. I really do enjoy all the options that like we have and that you guys are building. Just because, I like. Of course, if something's gonna be built, it's probably gonna get built in Web3. So like, it might as well be redacted. I personally, I don't personally use any of the wrapper products. Honestly, I just kind of forgot. I saw like it unlocked, and then I just like locked it again without thinking. But like, I don't know. I'm already down so bad. Like that's the truth. But like, next when my stack unlocks, I am looking to actually use one, like your product or one of them. But
Appreciate the honesty, man.
Yeah.
no,
So
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's not like I didn't want to choose one. I just forgot.
No, it's totally okay.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is that like the wrap, like there's so many different types of users, right? And wrappers aren't you don't have to use them. I think like a great way to kind of get the value of like say UCVX or whatever is say you have your locked CVX that you've locked yourself. You can delegate to the union, and then they can compound it to use CVX for you as well. So there's so many ways to kind of get those benefits, even if you're not diving in with your main stack.
That's actually a really good point. That's actually something I'm thinking about doing myself. Like, I really do enjoy that, especially since I don't have that big of a stack. That's at least one of the products I will confirm I probably will be using at some point. But if you wanted my information or like what I've seen from the community, from the convicts community about your product, I generally think it's like really good. A lot of people are just, I don't know. I feel like nowadays with like the whole like with everything going on, everyone's like being extra careful when it's kind of unnecessary. But I do see a lot of people excited for the products you have and what you're bringing to the table, just because you like anyone from the outside looking in can tell that you guys try to build things that benefit like multiple different like ecosystems, like with Pyrex, with Convex, or with Hidden Hand, with Balancer and the Tokamak community. I think it's Tokamak, or at least I know you have Floored Out on there. But so like I think from like an aspect from the comics community, they're like you guys are not really choosing one specific side. So I think a lot of people are like excited for that product just because you're gonna make things fair and all that. At least if you wanted my take, at least that's like a little bit what I would say.
You've redeemed yourself. Thank you, Alejandro.
Well, and I got to one up you, Alejandro. I actually, full disclosure, I did get in through the union into Pirex, just easy mode. That's how I roll. But I did wait, like, let the unlock happen, let the dust settle. I didn't relock for over 2 weeks, just waiting to see what was going. Or I didn't make any moves till over 2 weeks, just to see what was going to happen. So I didn't know if we were going to zero or exactly how that was going to play out. But that was a lot of fun. I think the next interesting thing we'll see what happens with if Wonderland does sell their over a million CVX. So that will be the the next adventure, I guess.
I've been hearing they're either gonna OTC or just sell it to Sifu or whatever his name is. Like,
well, he was shorting, right? I don't know. Again, come on the show, Sifu. I'm gonna start posting every day. We need to get him on the show.
Him or Tetra. I would love to have one of those two on the show.
Yeah.
But, before we go too far off track, I was actually hoping I can ask you guys a question now. So I was leading into this because you've kind of positioned you guys as like kind of like a neutral party. You guys try to build products that benefit like multiple different ecosystems, not only Convex, but you build like Hidden Hand that benefits other VE token like ecosystems as well. And so one thing I was thinking is that last time we talked, you said like you guys need to make products as well to bring like revenue in like into the protocol and bring value in another way. But one thing I wanted to ask is that you guys started out with your treasury and like making like investments that you guys thought was like really key investments, and at the time you wanted to continue building that to also let your butterfly holders get exposure to those assets as well. Have you guys kind of like forgotten about that, or have you guys like thought about that much these past few months? Or was it just you guys decided to do a complete pivot and just focus on the products instead?
Man, yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe that's a better question for Sammy, but also hopefully Funky could shed some light. But I think we would rather bet on ourselves than anyone else because we know what we're capable of. So that's been the primary focus so far, or lately.
So I'd say like we haven't like we had this great bootstrapping period where we developed a very strong treasury, and some people do get exposure to these kind of basket of assets through holding Butterfly, but we like that's still kind of, I wouldn't say it's not our main focus. Like the kind of governance infrastructure / products is kind of fits into our ethos of kind of working with governance. Within our new Butterfly tokenomics, we still have, we have a portion of supply which we will, be using for either incentivizing products or, bootstrapping liquidity, because that's important for, having that POL, and for also kind of getting kind of key treasury assets, especially with kind of partner protocols, and that's something that we're looking to even now. Just to, interface, especially with our kind of products. So I guess to answer your question is like, yes, there has been like a slight pivot. Like we used to be primarily focused on the treasury, and then now, that treasury can support, the other products and can also provide direct value for Butterfly holders, as you can see with like our Butterfly. People will get direct.
So it seemed like maybe the treasury was the focus before, but now the treasury is just the engine to grow the redacted ecosystem. Is that a good way to sort of summarize it?
Exactly. Like the treasury is a tool. It's a great resource to have, which allows us to do many things. But at the end of the day, like, with treasury, we still get yield on our CVX. We get yield on a whole bunch of other treasury assets, and we can use these governance tokens to our advantage for our products as well. But the Butterfly holders also still get the kind of upside from the assets that we hold.
So it's almost as if,
yes,
yeah, maybe the bear market was a blessing from the standpoint of the focus isn't on the treasury and all the income the treasury is producing. Now the focus is on building out the protocol and being able to come up with new products that can add revenue to the protocol versus the revenue just coming from the treasury. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
So like I think the product aspect is way more sustainable, and it allows us to really kind of get involved in so many different places, whereas previously, when we were kind of a rebase bonding, ohm fork focused project. And we were more limited into kind of like, when we launched, it was curve, convex, and ohm. And as we've seen, the ohm model has been tested, etc., and it made sense to kind of use that kind of starting point where we had with the treasury, and then pivot to more sustainable tokenomics and more sustainable kind of protocol model. But one thing is that Sammy has been very visionary in that, and I think this has been his plan all along, because Redacted acquired Vodomac very early on, and that was kind of like his big plan was to have this these governance products where you can even tap even more value than just focusing on bonding, which isn't super sustainable.
One thing that, sorry, Keith, let me ask this really quick. So, one thing I don't know if you guys are part of the space, and you guys been seeing like all these different things happening, like a bunch of, like, I guess you call them, yeah, meta governance, or like other protocols, kind of like convex, like Aura. Oh, I can't pronounce the name for my life. Aura Finance, or Plutus, and I'm sure there's more going to be coming up along the way as more protocols could like change over to VE. Have you guys been like looking into that, or like seeing see how you can benefit, or is there any way you can like talk about that, since you guys are part of the space as well, seeing all these like different things develop like over these past few months, like around you?
Yeah, I like the really cool thing, being in this space, is you see the evolution of governance tokens from like back in 2017, where they were literally valueless governance tokens, like 0x, or now it's like there's a big focus on kind of like real governance through these governance tokens, and value accrual, etc. But as more of these protocols are moving towards the meta governance or whatever, especially liquid governance, I think Redacted is really well placed, because you have these two really good governance products which interface perfectly with any, I wouldn't say any, but many different things that protocols want to enable their governance token holders to kind of do. So for example, with Hidden Hand, if you're looking to incentivize gauge votes or whatever, you can do that with Hidden Hand. If you have certain kind of governance aspects that for example like lock tokens, etc., you can use Pirex to kind of extract value there. And like one thing that I think a lot of people kind of focus on, especially with Pirex, is they think, okay, I mean obviously Pirex's first protocol was convex, PXCVX, and what it does there is liquid wrapper, auto compounding, tokenization of future gauge events, etc. But this kind of Pirex can be applied to so many different things, and it's KP, the whole team, etc. I mean, there's so many applications where you can kind of improve tokens or like improve utility, and yeah, so as the space evolves towards having more utility, especially for governance holders, or changing token models, I think Redacted is really well placed to kind of leverage these opportunities all over the market.
Yeah, adding on to what Funky said too, and about I mean, we definitely, I mean, all we have done, I mean, like our main focus right now is governance, but any single protocol we've developed so far has the capability to do so much more. Even Hidden Hand, like we've engineered these things to be able to support many different use cases, and we do think that the bribing of governance is just the beginning, and unfortunately, it's only market with any sort of like any meaningful amount of value circulating. But yeah, we're waiting, and we're just as the space evolves, hopefully we'll be able to expand, and we will be able to, or our technology will be able to.
All right, KP, it's time to share some alpha. Funky said you all are really, really well placed. So what does that mean? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm the worst at sharing alpha, so you picked the wrong person. If you want alpha, share against Sammy. But I'm really excited because
Wait a minute. He's just marketing. You're the dev. Come on.
yeah, well, no, not really, because no, Sammy does a lot more than marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know how, but he knows everybody, and as Funky said, he's been great at working with us, working with other people, and just crafting these strategies, these very high level strategies that just um, there's definitely a path in his mind, and uh, we're happy to help him see it through, and everyone, especially our stakeholders, will benefit from it, and our team, of course. But I guess the alpha that I could share is, and not really alpha because we just spoke about it on our community call 2 days ago or yesterday. But
It's still pretty fresh alpha though.
yeah,
We like 1 day fresh.
Yeah, nobody listens to your community call. They listen to our podcast.
yeah, thanks.
I'm just kidding.
I know we're just shit posting IRL in real time. Man, it would be cool, I think, to do a like a Kingmaker live, like something like that on our next community call or something.
Yeah, it's called Knights of the Round Table. We'll do it with you.
That's sick. Okay, let's do it. Well, we'll ask hold. But quick alpha, I guess, on the Pirex side is that we already started integrating or implementing a new protocol for Pirex, and we do think that it should, as far as the contracts are concerned, it should be. I mean, it will be comprehensively tested. Of course, we never, ship any code without testing the shit out of it, and then and audited and peer reviewed by people we trust, and hopefully shipped or ready to ship by end of August. And
Guaranteed?
the best part,
Just playing.
I feel pretty damn good about that. But as you know, and as I'm sure the people who are listening to this know now, that the product is more than just contracts. So we need to figure that out. But we've been hiring people, and so I don't know. Like I think our efforts will accelerate. But yeah, on top of that, what's shipping? I mean, what's being done now and will be done in August. We're going to be implementing new protocols in parallel too with one another. So, I mean, what I just mentioned about finishing the contracts for that in August, I think the one after, or the one that we'll be doing at the same time, may be done in early September. So I think our efforts.
And they are which ones?
Yeah, that's definitely not
GMX
happening.
or who it is? Who it is?
No comment on any of that. But we're really excited, and it's no alpha.
I
It's
was
because
trying.
Blame
Literally
Alejandro. I
anyone.
thought he had
Wait,
used Pirex. No, I'm just kidding.
Funky was about to tell us.
Don't say anything, Monkey.
I was just saying it could be anybody, and then it will be everybody. Like what I always tell people is like Pyrex could be applied to anything. So just open up CoinGecko and just go down the
All
list.
right, it's PXL and PX Voyager.
Awesome. Can't wait. I'm all in.
Yeah. No, but
Yes.
no, but like that's honestly why I'm excited. Just because you got the Pyrex, and then Hidden Hand, it can fit so many different ecosystems. That's why like I'm also excited as well. Even though I've been quietly just letting you guys like talk about it. It's just because like there's already two other like meta governance like ecosystems popping up, and there's more and more protocols going to VE. Like I remember saying in like a Medium article, SNX is going to VE, and like the more protocols that go to VE, the more the more people are going to use Hidden Hand. So yeah, I'm really excited to
Yes.
see when you announce it, to see who. I'm sure there's another one going to pop up, but who else you're going to do Pyrex for, or who else you integrate into Hidden Hand.
Yeah, and we recently had Karn. Some of you may know them, but Carnation helping us with strategy. So she'll be joining Percival and Funky on that. And there will be new ways in which we'll be tying protocols together synergistically. So right now, I mean, I think there's like a very loose relationship between Pirex and Hidden Hand, but soon, um, like Pirex's efforts may funnel directly into Hidden Hand too. So not the convex one, but yeah. But it'll be super cool. I mean, really excited about that, and it's just going to be like a massive, self-consuming and growing like entity, like an Ouroboros. But yeah, we are pretty hyped, and yeah, we're very proud of like the team that we have here, because I mean, we were just talking to Alu the other day about this from Union. Was he's used to so many teams, proclaiming that they're going to do this, do that, and then it never, it never
Happens.
materializes. Yeah.
So it's Frax.
Yeah. No, I no specific names. We have no idea. Like, I mean, let's not even get into that. I have no idea. I mean, I'll be honest.
You have no idea what the contracts are written to include, Frax? Okay, got it.
Oh, are you talking about Pirex Frax?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm not saying that Frax ships a ton. I wasn't talking about them. I'm just saying I'm still guessing who you're adding.
Oh, right. No. Yeah, I can't. Even if it were, I wouldn't say anything. My lips are pretty sealed. I'm good at keeping secrets. But yeah, I do think that. I mean, and there's very good reasons for why we don't disclose this stuff, and it's just because, I mean, there have been cases where people try to front run us, and I mean, yeah, just for the sake of protecting our stakeholders and our team, I mean, it's such a small effort to keep silent about that we might as well, It's not that we're fearful, because I don't know, we feel pretty good about outcompeting anyone on the tech side of things on the efforts that we're doing right now, just because we will outwork most people, and because we're really intent on yeah, we just really fucking care about what we do. So
Right.
we will slay competitors if we have to,
So
and we will.
So to recap on the sort of the timing side, V2 is coming soon for Redacted as a whole. With V2 will come the expert mode on Pirex, and then more to come from Pirex with additional protocols being added. Is that sort of the timeline we're looking at here?
Yeah, and but yeah, no specific dates, but I will say that the reason for any delays or the previous or the general timeframes for delivering products in the past, I mean, they'll be shorter as we continue to develop and bring on more people, and we are bringing on more people on our rehab. So just really excited for the next 6 months, because things are about to go fucking wild.
Talking about the next 6 months, one thing that I actually was thinking about is that you guys have been positioning yourselves, like you guys have been really ambitious, and of course you're going to expand your team because you guys have so many products and ideas, like that you would want to build or do, and but everything that you guys been building has been solving problems. So though, so like, is it good? Is it good for me to like say is like the whole, like, instead of like you being like synthetics or GMX trying to like not build something, not build, you're building something new, but the way I kind of see you guys is that you guys are trying to fix problems in different ecosystems or in the market in general. And you kind of remind me a little bit of Umami Finance, that you guys see a problem or an issue that one ecosystem may have, or the whole market is like something's missing in the market, and you guys go on and you make a product, or you like change your product to like fix that issue for this said ecosystem. Is it good to like see you guys in that light, or do you guys not see yourself in that way? Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's accurate to say that we are trying to solve problems, and right now it seems that we're just, um, you know, making, well, not major innovations, but
because then, for example, we're building on top of another incredible protocol like Convex, right? I mean, just in the case of Pirex, but there were certain novel mechanics and things like that. But we are definitely working up to it, and all of the existing efforts, regardless of whether it's brand new or not, is like on the long, on the longer time frame that, like where we want this all to go and all to funnel into. It's going to work up to something that is, that we truly believe, does not exist. And everything that we're building now doesn't matter whether it's innovative or novel or anything. Not to say that we're not. It's just that that's not. Like we will never try to innovate for the sake of innovating, creating something new for the sake of just something new. We just want to provide as much value as we can. But yeah, it really is setting up for something greater. It's just that it takes time, and all these Legos we're creating are just stacking up.
And it's exciting to see. Again, I'll say I think the bear market is a good thing because builders can build, and there's not all the hysteria about number go up. So I don't know. I think that crypto will be much, much stronger coming out of this down period.
Yeah, and like for them, for example, is that like the people who stuck through with Redacted, even through the bear market, they're gonna, if they stuck through with like all this price action and like waiting this whole time for like them to ship and everything, they're gonna be there for the long haul, which is what you need. You need long-term believers and followers, not someone who's just gonna be there for a week and then just leave.
Yeah, it's a very good filter of people who should be here. But at the same time, just I recently took a break, and yeah, I keep saying this, but really grateful for our team for like we really do care about each other, and when someone needs to take a break, we'll put out the effort or extra effort to continue to carry the load. But yeah, I just have been doing a lot of thinking about what it takes, and I think the bear market is just a major stressor that some people can't handle, right? And I'm not sure if I'd be able to handle it either if it weren't for the team that we have, and the support and the things that we're doing. Yeah, I feel really bad because some of these people definitely would make it through the bear market, right? The people who are leaving, if they had the right support structure. And very fortunate and grateful to have that, because if I didn't, well, actually, I would definitely still be in the space because I've been here already through the past previous bear market, but would not be, would be maybe more about like a mercenary versus someone who's trying to build towards something that will last and with great people.
Yeah, in being newer to crypto, I would say I would have a whole lot harder of a time being in the space if I didn't get a chance to chat with some of y'all and get to know you just a little bit. But knowing there's really good people working hard behind the scenes, so appreciate all your hard work.
Oh yeah, we do appreciate it. Because like as a retail person, like we look at the numbers and we look at how much has gone up, the APY, and like sometimes people forget like these people like they're builders, yes, and they do have dreams and they do have ambitions, and they're also people as well. So being able to talk to you guys firsthand and like hear your guys' excitement on and off camera and all that stuff, at least it's definitely made it easier, just because like if you guys are excited and ambitious and can't wait for the future, is going to give hope to community members and people in the space as well, because you guys are builders, that's what you do. So I could definitely like say like with Keith that it does like make the bear market easier for your community members and everyone involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think our community is our community and people like yourselves are people who make up that support structure I mentioned earlier. But yeah, we love building. Like we truly love it, and it's not purely just to make a bunch of money, because we're constantly discussing just like cool ideas. But now we're starting to kind of like I think the bear market is a great chance to just slow down and do a lot more, like increase the depth of our thinking and lengthen our the time frame that we're working on. I think something that we want to do is, and which we're working towards, which I mentioned earlier. All this is building up to something that will hopefully last forever. I mean, ideally, once we get there. I mean, if it all works out the way that we hope it'll work out, and no matter what, we're gonna have a great time doing it. And I mean, how could we not? I mean, we get to do stuff like shit talk on a fucking podcast, and share. It's like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought Redacted couldn't pay you. That's what I was reading on Twitter. No,
I know, man. I was about to say, hey, do you guys have a room for a third podcast?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We make big money here, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, totally.
I should have said that.
So we're at the end of the show here. Funky, want to give you a chance to wrap things up from your perspective. Any final thoughts from you? Any shout outs you want to make? Anything you want to shill or make people aware of?
I mean, I think I've done some pretty good shilling already for Redacted already, but I'll just say, like, I'm personally really excited for what we've got in store, and there's so many opportunities, and as KP was saying, like, the bear market is a great time where you can get your head down and build the next monster, but yeah, big shout out to the Redacted team, amazing bunch of people, and big shout out to the community as well. Like, they have been very supportive, and they've been very understanding as we build these products. So I think that's it for me.
Yeah, KP, final thoughts? Anything you want to shill? Any protocols you want to name that you're going to add to Pirex?
Or the final product that you keep on hinting, and like give a brief description of it so everyone could be aware of it.
It's no names or anything because we don't know. I mean, what to even call it, all of this yet. I mean, but at least what really drives us, and it's like what drives us is providing real and lasting value. I mean, I think when you approach things in that way, which, I mean, typically one easy way to provide value is to solve problems, right? Which you kind of touched on earlier. And we just want to solve problems, and we want to solve a problem that people are going to have for a really long time. And I think that mentality ties in really well with what we're all trying to accomplish here. Like, it's not just one big Ponzi, or we're trying to extract as much money and sell to the next fool. It really has the potential to become something that helps a lot of people on just an insane scale. And I really hope that this bear market will allow people to really, recover that the mentality. Like, you can make money, and you can make a lot of money while trying to, benefit, humanity. There's just so much potential here for all of us. So not a shill, but just I don't know, just setting my thoughts out to the ether, right?
Awesome, good pun there. Alejandro, final thoughts. Take us home, bud.
No, I'm really excited. I guess since we interviewed so many protocols and everything, like, I'm like mapping out in my head where I see Redacted fitting in, and I really am excited for their future. With the product, they build products that are neutral, and it could benefit multiple ecosystems. So if in a way, it's like if crypto is successful, like Redacted can be successful as well if they continue putting products like that, which I'm excited. And even just getting the hint that they have a big dream, or like a big dream product that they want to make one day, is exciting in itself. I can't wait to see how everything happens. My bad. Something was in my throat. But you could edit that out if you want. But
No way, that's staying in.
God damn it. But if you want,
make that the intro.
Oh God, no.
KingMaker Podcast.